October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Month. If you or someone you care about has lost a child to stillbirth, miscarriage, SIDS, or any other cause at any point during pregnancy or infancy, please join us in raising awareness. Trigger warning. In this episode, we discuss sensitive topics, including needles, fetal demise, stillbirth, blood, birth, depression, postpartum depression, and anxiety. Hello, and welcome to Sorry for Trauma Dumping. We're your hosts. My name is Alex.
And I'm Erica.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, well, this is another episode of our little, what are we calling this? Our little series that we're doing.
Oh, I don't know why I was about to say segue.
Our little series that we're doing. This episode, as you would have saw by the title, is for miscarriage and child loss. Yep, this is going to be a little bit of a harder episode to listen to. But I mean, it is these people have gone through really traumatic things. So always let's be kind and courteous in the comments if we have any. And you know, these people are really pouring their souls out to us. So, all right. Okay, and we're going to welcome our first guest today. We're welcoming Sara. So say hello to Sara.
Hi.
Hello. Sara is a family member of mine. She is married to my cousin Tyler. How long have you and Tyler been married? I can't remember.
So we've been married for 7 years, but we've been dating since 2010.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A long time. Yeah.
A long time.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, the floor is yours, so you can go ahead and share us anything you'd like to of your story today.
Okay. So I guess I don't know where to start. So like I said, I've been with my husband, married for 7 years, dating since 2010. We were high school sweethearts. We got pregnant, a surprise pregnancy in 2016. Yes. Okay, I have 3 kids. Sometimes I get them mixed up. No, in 2016, we got a surprise pregnancy. Found out about 10 weeks into our pregnancy that it was twins. They were identical twin boys. And, you know, we were already young, first time, like, parents. I think Tyler was 21. I was maybe 22. And then we're expecting twins. And, you know, we were really excited. And our families were so excited. It was a high-risk pregnancy. So my boys were monodi twins, so they shared the same placenta but had separate sacs. It's a risky, it's a risky pregnancy. I had ultrasounds every 2 weeks, and what we were doing is we were trying to monitor the babies to make sure, like, twin to twin transfusion is what we were making sure didn't happen. We had a really good, healthy pregnancy. We found out we were pregnant in March. We got married in June of the same year. So at the end of June, we went on a little honeymoon where we just camped for a week. We came back Friday, and I had an ultrasound, which, like I said, we had those very often, every 2 weeks. So it was nothing new. We go into the ultrasound, and right away I know something isn't right because our ultrasound tech, she wasn't really talking. She wasn't, like, showing us things like they normally do. She did tell us the weight, and I believe at that point, baby A was like 14 ounces and baby B was 1 pound, 6 ounces. So there was a pretty big weight difference, and they were always the same size. So my doctor comes in, and she said that she thinks that we have twin to twin transfusion. She's like, I think it's a pretty severe case. You're going to go to Iowa City. So, like, then they got me an ambulance and they transferred me to Iowa City, which was really scary.
I bet.
Tyler was in the room with me, and he, he called my mom. My mom got down as soon as she could. So while we were waiting on the ambulance, I got a steroid shot for the babies because they honestly thought at that time that I might be going into labor. I was 4 centimeters dilated and I think like 50% effaced. And at this point, I'm 21 weeks along.
Okay.
So not very long.
How long do you know roughly with twins generally are you pregnant?
So with my monodi twins, we were not going to go past 36 weeks.
Okay.
So I was going to get induced at 36 weeks, no matter what, healthy or not. So then I should go back to, not only did they have a weight difference, baby A had no amniotic fluid, and baby B had extra fluid around his heart and his liver.
Oh, wow.
So then they get me all ready. They send me down to Iowa City. I meet right away with specialists. And they do their ultrasound. I honestly think that ultrasound took like 2 hours. I don't know if it did, or for me, it just felt like a really long time. But we were in there for a while. My mom's in the waiting room just like, what is going on? Well, they decided that my case was something that they were not able to take care of in Iowa City. So then they're like, we're going to transfer you to Cincinnati, Ohio Children's Hospital.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So they were like, we want to send you there, but right now we're worried. We're not sure if you're going to like start going into active labor. We're not really sure what's going to go on. So they're like, you and your husband need to like talk this over. So with my husband, Tyler, and my mom, we discussed that we were going to go to Cincinnati. Now, at this time, we were very young. We didn't have the money to just get on a plane or to just drive 10 hours away.
Right.
So we asked family members. We had some really awesome family members that helped us. We had some family members that were not so awesome. And I will never forget how people treated us at that time of our lives. Anyways, so my great aunt gave us $600, told us if we needed more, we would get more. But it was enough for us to get down to Cincinnati. More than enough for us to get down to Cincinnati, and we decided to drive. I, that night, stayed in Iowa City. Tyler went home to get things packed. From what I remember, it was horrible. I was on magnesium to try to prevent any more labor and also to help the babies. If anyone's ever been on magnesium, it makes you feel like the worst flu of your life.
Oh, no.
Yes, it was horrible. But again, it was for my baby. So I was like, we're doing it. The next morning, they made me walk around the hospital to make sure I wasn't going to have any more contractions before they sent me away. I was fine. They gave me the okay. So I think Tyler seriously drove probably 90 miles per hour.
Oh my goodness.
Cincinnati. Yeah, it was pretty scary. And then we had to have like frequent stops because I needed to get out and walk around because they were worried about blood clots forming. So we leave Iowa City in the morning and we don't get to Cincinnati till like 10 o'clock at night. Maybe even later. It is late. We got there late. At that point, the doctor I was supposed to see was already gone for the day. She came back to see me, and they again did their own ultrasounds. They did a amniotic fluid test where they took a needle that was like this big. It was huge, and they put it in my stomach.
No.
That was so painful, and I couldn't move. I couldn't like wince. I couldn't cry because they're like, it could get a baby, so you're not going to move.
Right.
At this point, they did not think I had twin-to-twin transfusion. Honestly, they thought I had an infection. So they did all the tests that they could think of. And they told me that baby A was the healthiest, and we were probably going to lose baby B. So that was hard, very hard. So we got down there Saturday. They wanted me to go see get a fetal heart I can't remember what it's called, echo. They wanted me to get an echo on baby B. So we stayed there the whole weekend. Monday morning, right before I was about to leave to go get the echo done, they wanted to do just check the heart rates. And the nurse was having a hard time finding 2 different heart rates. But at that point, she's like, oh, they're just the same. Like, they were 137 beats per minute. It was a heart rate. And I was like, that's not right.
Right.
They've never been like that. That's not right. We get the fetal heart, and again, right away, I knew something wasn't right. They went to look at baby A, and right away, I seen her move across my belly, and she turns the screen. So, as someone who really reads into signs, I was like, this is it. Like, something happened. She looks at baby B. She gets all the pictures she needs to, and then she leaves. And again, she never said a word to me.
Right.
She leaves, and she comes back with the doctor. And right away, the doctor walks in, and he's like, I'm really sorry, but baby A has no heartbeat. And
Baby A?
Yeah, we lost baby A.
Baby A was the healthy one.
Yeah, that's what we thought also. So we lost baby A.
Sorry, I'm invested.
No, it's fine. Yeah, so we lost baby A. And in that moment, my mom was there with Tyler and I. And I remember her just screaming, crying, and Tyler's crying. And I'm just trying to be tough. And I'm just like, well, what about the other baby? And the doctor's like, he still has fluid around his heart. Maybe with this baby A passing, it will get better. So then we leave. We go back to our room, and we're just crying and crying like we are very devastated. Very. Mm-hmm. We have a doctor come in, an OB doctor that I've never met before. And he literally sits down and he tells me not to be sad, that I can't cry, because if I'm upset, it will affect baby B and I could lose him as well. That was hard.
That's
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Losing your baby and being told you can't cry because your other one's going to die too. Yeah. So after that, I pretty much said I want to leave. And they said that it would be best for me to go back to Iowa because I was 23 weeks. So earlier I said I was 21. No, I was 23 weeks, just turned 23 weeks pregnant. And they're like, if you have this baby here, we will not try to save it. They're like, we don't even have tubes small enough for breathing, for feeding. We can't do anything. So they're like, you need to go back to Iowa because the University of Iowa, they will try. They have stuff there. So we go back to Iowa. Right away, we have another doctor's appointment with the high-risk specialist, and they want me on a strict bed rest, and then I had to go back every week. I was not able to give birth to baby A, who we ended up naming Levi. I was not able to give birth to Levi because since they shared the same placenta, if I birthed him, I would have to give birth to Liam, which baby B's name, Liam. So he stayed in my belly until I was to give birth. until I was to go into labor. And at this point, I had no more contractions. I was stayed the same, 50% effaced, 4 centimeters dilated. Um, so I was on bed rest. I go back. My first appointment, Liam still had fluid around his heart. He wasn't doing any better. We go back a week later. So at this point, I'm 25 weeks pregnant, and he's starting to look better. The fluid is starting to decrease around his heart, and he had no more fluid around his liver.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we were starting to see like a positive outlook. I go back at my 26-week appointment, and everything, he's completely fine. He is a completely healthy baby. So we were talking about maybe possibly me having to go back to work on like a light duty type of thing. And then in hopes I would get to 34 weeks of pregnancy. And at least 34. 34 was the goal. But again, they were not going to have me go past 36 weeks because with Levi still in there, it was risky.
Right.
So my 26-week appointment was a Thursday. We come home. You know, it was a normal day. We were really happy. We had good news. That Friday night, I started to have back pains. And I was like, oh, this is weird. But, you know, it's a normal pregnancy thing. Yeah, so I was like, okay, you know, we're fine. And at this point, actually, I was just turned 27 weeks. Yeah, so I just turned 27 weeks. Started having back pains, and I'm like, it's Braxton Hicks.
Braxton Hicks.
Yeah.
Braxton Hicks, yeah.
Braxton Hicks contractions. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. I go to sleep. I sleep just fine. I wake up to go to the bathroom, and I have a lot of blood coming out of me. So I say, like, seriously, this is how loud I said. I said, Tyler? And I'm in the bathroom, and he's dead asleep in our bed. Just me saying that, he woke up. He came running to the bathroom, goes, what's wrong? And I'm like, look. So I showed him. I call Iowa City, and they're like, okay, you need to go to the hospital now. They're like, go to your nearest hospital, which at the time was Covenant. So we go there, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I am in active labor at 27 weeks pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so again, I was given a steroid shot, and then I was given a magnesium drip, and I was rushed to Iowa City. So I got there. That happened over Friday night. So Saturday, spent all day Saturday in Iowa City trying to get labor to stop. So they were trying to give me fluids. They're hoping magnesium, you know, all that stuff. And it never did. I just continued to progress with dilating. So my mom, my brother, my sister-in-law, Maddie, and my sister Carrie were all there, along with Tyler. They were all there trying to support me. I don't honestly remember most of that day because the magnesium seriously is horrible. I was in and out of sleep. Even when I was awake, I just wasn't there. And I don't know, maybe it was the magnesium, maybe it was just like depression. At this point, we didn't know the odds of our baby surviving. I remember a NICU nurse coming in, and she's like, do you want a tour of the NICU? And I said, no, I didn't, because again, I didn't know if we were going to have a baby or not. So I said no. And then I can't remember if it was Tyler or my mom. They asked what the odds were of Liam surviving. And at the University of Iowa, he had a 99% chance of survival.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So after they told us that, like, we felt so much better. Like, we're like, okay, he has a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And then My family leaves. Tyler stays with me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I think it was. And maybe everybody knows, but Iowa is a teaching hospital. So instead of one doctor coming in, you have like 7. You have a lot of doctors coming in. So I had a lot of doctors checking to see if, well, like, how dilated I was, just looking at my vagina. Super awkward, but again, I didn't care. I was like,
When
super.
when you're in labor, you're just like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I guess just
like,
come and take a look
wait,
at it.
yeah. And then one of the doctors was like, "Oh, she's like ready," and they're like, "Do you want an epidural?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I think I do." Funny about the epidural, I wanted to watch them like put the needle in my back. They're like getting me all ready, and I was like trying to like turn around and look. I was like, I want to see, and they're like, you really don't. I was like, but I kind of do want to watch.
Oh no.
Girl,
Yeah.
you brave. I was
Yeah.
like, no way.
They did not let me watch. And then an hour later, I got taken into an operation room, and the reason why they did that was I literally had a NICU team of like 10 doctors and nurses. I had the anesthesia team, the birthing team, and then I had an emergency C-section team all waiting in the room with me. Yes. There was probably 50 people. There was a lot.
That's a lot.
Yes. Again, and my hoo-ha's just for everyone to see.
It's out there.
Yeah. So the fear was that once I gave birth to Levi, because he was the bottom baby, and then Liam was up here, that Liam would flip, and if he did that, they would have to like emergency C-section. So they'd cut me all the way up and pull him out pretty much. So I gave birth to Levi, who was 13 ounces, I believe. Really little. It didn't look like a baby because he sat in my stomach for so long, and they didn't let me see him right away, probably because they knew that I needed to get this other baby out, so I needed to wait. I got Levi out, and then I went back from 10 centimeters dilated to like 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so then I had to wait to progress some more. I think once I hit 9, they're like, this baby's small. This is good enough. So I pushed Liam out, and he at birth was 27 weeks and 3 days. So he was born really early. He cried, which was good. They didn't think he would cry, and his eyes were open. They didn't think his eyes would be open. They rushed him. Tyler got to see him really quick, and then they just rushed him, got him whatever he needed. They got me cleaned up. I went back to my room, and then they brought me Levi. And so we got to hold him. They asked if we wanted him to, like, a priest to come in and do. I'm not a religious person, so I don't really. They wanted him, like, whatever they do.
Yep.
And then they asked if I wanted pictures, and at this time I said no. That's probably one of my biggest regrets, is saying no, because we don't have any pictures, and not that he looked like a baby, but he was still ours.
Right.
We don't have any pictures.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is going to be insensitive or what. Just let me know. But did you get to keep anything from Levi? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So the hospital gave us a box that had a hat that he wore, little socks, and then it was a gown somebody knitted, and then the stuff was like
Aww.
donated to the hospital. Um, then they gave us other like little things just for losing our baby. They gave us feet and hand prints. The thing I cherish the most, and I don't know if this is weird of me, but is his hat, because it has like a little bit of like his blood left on it, and that's what we have. That and his little socks and gown he wore is all we have of him. So yeah, so we had a funeral for him a week later. We buried him, and we had some amazing organizations like around who helped us do that. Yeah, so he is buried at Mount Olivet. We go see him every once in a while. But it's hard.
I bet.
It is hard. So then Liam ended up staying at the NICU in Iowa City for like 50, 60 some days, and then he transferred to Covenant, where he stayed for about a week so he could just learn to eat, maybe 2 weeks, and then he came home. He is now a happy, wild, freaking 7-year-old. And just every day, like, Tyler and I will always know what Levi looks like because they were identical. So he will literally look like his brother. Obviously, we don't know his personality. If anything, will be different. But it just is comforting to me to know that they would look the same. Yeah. People, if he was here with us, people would be like, oh, which one is this? Like, oh, this is Levi and that's Liam. So yeah, so that happened to us. And like I said, I'm not the most religious person, but
you're not. It's okay. We're not either. So you're good. Yep. Nope.
But sometimes, like, I want to be like, I don't know. So I was like, okay, if there is a higher power, nothing bad will happen. Like, this is the bad thing that will happen to us. No. So we were trying for another baby, and we ended up having a miscarriage. So I think I was 8 weeks along. We had a miscarriage, and then I got pregnant with my son Finley, and then we were like, we want one more baby, and then we had a miscarriage again. So we had 2 miscarriages, and then Levi was considered a stillborn because he was further along in the pregnancy. So yeah, I don't know how to go from there.
Nope, you're fine. I mean, I have questions and stuff too.
Yeah,
so
yes, I will answer.
So with everything that you've gone through, do you feel that you have gotten, like, I know postpartum is really common, but do you think you had more than just postpartum? You've had more of like a depression and stuff like that because of the things that you've gone through?
So with Liam and Levi and the whole pregnancy, I had so many people just from the university reaching out, like making sure I was okay, making sure, if I had any postpartum depression, anxiety, any of that. And with Liam, honestly, I probably did. But my thing was focusing on my baby getting home, bringing a baby home. With Finley, definitely some pretty bad anxiety throughout that whole pregnancy.
Oh, I bet.
My doctor, who's Dr. Solheim, she was amazing. Literally would answer my phone call anytime. Anytime I was worried I couldn't feel my baby move, she brought me in. She was amazing. And she was also my doctor with my first pregnancy with Liam and Levi. So she knew, like, yeah. So she was just amazing. It wasn't until I had Archer, where, again, that whole pregnancy, and Archer, we didn't think he was going to be a viable pregnancy. So that was hard. And just because of what happened, I already had really bad anxiety over everything. There's days where I just couldn't be a person because I was like, well, we're going to lose this baby. Like, I haven't felt the baby move in 2 hours. He's gone. So again, Solheim, anytime that happened, she would bring me in, give me ultrasounds. It was very reassuring. But then after I had Archer, I was finally diagnosed with postpartum depression and anxiety. It was really bad. I remember going to my 6-week checkup and just bawling so bad. In the doctor's office, and Dr. Solheim was like, again, she was just amazing. So yeah, so I probably should have been on medication for my first 2 pregnancies to help with that depression and anxiety, but I did. It took me till Archer to get help.
It takes a long time. I know I have not gone through anything like that, but just personal experience with depression. It does take a long time to finally admit, like, hey, maybe, I need medication and I need help. It's harder to reach because you're like, no, I'm good. I'm just a little sad.
Yeah.
And until you realize it, you're like, oh
Mhm.
no, I need help.
And I don't know why I had this like mentality, but I always thought, oh, if you have depression, you're just a weak person. If you have anxiety, you're just a weak person. No, I definitely had those things. And I think it takes so much strength to admit those things and then ask for help.
Right.
So, yeah.
I agree.
With this, I know something personally that I wanted to ask too. Are there things that, people have said to you or like they did that either like I'm trying to think of the words. Like for me personally, like I knew you guys are going through all of that, but I had no clue what to say. And I was a lot of it, I was like, I'm just gonna like check her Facebook or I'm going to like do this. But it was the situation, it's a lot of like unknown. Like, do
Right.
I reach out? Did I say something wrong? Like,
Right.
I is there anything that you can think of that like people are like, yeah, that's not like a terrible thing to say, or your personal opinion on that?
So I remember after after we lost Levi, I also posted a lot of this on Facebook for like our friends and family to see. I remember a girl I went to school with. She saw me at Hy-Vee. We were getting groceries. And it was like the first time I was out in a week. And Tyler made me get out. He pushed me in a wheelchair, which was so embarrassing for me. I don't know. We're checking out, and she goes, "Oh, you didn't give birth to your babies," because obviously I had a belly. I was like, "No, we can't, because if I give birth to Levi, then I have to give birth to the other one." And her remark was, "Oh, I could never do that." So I left Hy-Vee crying, and I did not go anywhere else for a very long time because of her comment and just the way she said it. She was like disgusted, and I was like, you will never understand that. And shame on you for thinking that is an acceptable response to someone. I think for me, what makes me feel so, which I like when people remember him. So August 1st is always a hard day. It's the day we found out we lost him. August 21st is when we gave birth to Levi and Liam. So that's a hard day. It's just, first days of school, last day of school, Christmas. It's just always a reminder that we should have him here. So for me, there's a few people who reach out to me on August 1st who are just like, I love you, thinking about you. I have family who goes out and they leave little things, little knickknacks at his graveside. So just people doing that just makes me feel like they remember my baby. It's not just Tyler and I who remember him. That helps a lot. And just people bringing him up. Like, I've made a lot of friends, unfortunately, who have gone through the same experience. And they just know the days. Like, it's Liam's birthday. Well, then it's Levi's birthday. So happy birthday, Levi and Liam. Just that kind of thing. Um, so yeah, just people remembering him, acknowledging that he was our baby.
Right. I
Yeah.
know I have terrible anxiety. So I feel like sometimes I'm like, if I don't know if this will be offensive or come off wrong, it's better not to say anything at all. But then I feel really guilty because I'm like, I feel like an asshole because I'm not reaching out at all, but at the same time I don't want to say something and make the situation worse. I mean, even like doing this episode, I was like, I remember asking my husband Brandon, I was like, should I ask Sarah? Like, I just don't know if it'll be too soon, such too like a sensitive topic. Like, we knew these episodes were going to be hard and emotional, and I mean they're trauma. I mean
Yeah.
that's our whole like stick. Like, yeah, that's our whole thing. But when it does come to anything like this, it is really hard to talk about. So I know I was like, I don't know if I should say certain things. You know what I mean? I feel like in the past I remember I was so embarrassed after I said it. I think it was when you were pregnant with Finley.
Yeah.
And I think wasn't Kayla pregnant as well?
Mm-hmm.
And I had made it was in passing, and I remember I said it, and both you and Kayla, I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are going to be so close together because your guys' birth on that was like literally like super close.
Yeah, our kids were 3 days apart.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be like twins. And as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, I feel like an asshole. Like, my brain spoke way faster than, like, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't
Was
like.
that after you knew about Levi?
Yes.
Yeah. So Finley's my second.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah.
And I just, because I think it was at Christmas, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, it was so crazy that you guys happened to be pregnant at the same time. And my brain was faster, or my mouth was faster than my brain. And I remember you and Kayla both went, no. And I was like, oh God, I feel like such an asshole because I didn't, I went back to Alex. If you don't have anything to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah, no, honestly, I don't remember that. I remember other people saying remarks. I don't know, that just stuck. But it's funny that you're like, they look like twins, or they're like twins, because in my opinion, Kenzie and Finley, if you see them in public together, you would think that they were.
Yeah.
Like, I think they look alike, and they're so, like, 3 days apart. They're so close in age. But no, things like that don't get to me. What makes me really upset is when someone's pregnant with twins and they just are miserable with it. And it's hard for me to say because I feel like pregnancy's hard, okay? You deserve to complain that your back hurts and you're tired and the morning sickness is horrible, but sometimes it's hard for me because it's like, well, you got to carry twins to full term. Like,
Right.
Your body didn't. I don't know how to say it without being super offensive, but like your body didn't
Not make the pregnancy one.
Keep a baby alive. Yeah. And that was really hard for me too, because I always put the blame on me. I was like, what did I do wrong to lose this baby? Like, to not have this healthy pregnancy. It took me a really long time, many, many years, to realize that it was nothing I did.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really big mountain I had to climb to just like give myself that forgiveness.
Right.
And then to give myself like the forgiveness of not only losing Levi, but then having two other babies that I lost too. And I always think about Tyler and like how it affects him, because he's just as excited to have these babies, and then it's me who can't carry them, who can't grow them to be healthy, beautiful babies. So that's hard. That was a big one for me to overcome. There's still guilt there though sometimes. But I also have to just like remember I do have 3 beautiful, healthy boys.
Right.
Um,
You guys have such a beautiful family, and, like, with
well, thank you.
Tyler, like, he was meant to be a dad. Like, you can just tell, like, there are just certain people, and you're like,
Mhm.
"That's a dad." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, he's
Yes.
that's a dad. Like, even
He,
I remember even as kids, he always had, like, that parent nature that he
mhm.
wasn't one of those kids you're like, "Oh god, like, oh, his kids are gonna be
Yeah.
terrible." He was always very kind and sweet and, like, yeah, you guys are, like, the best parents. Like,
Yeah.
I look forward to, like, looking at your stuff on Facebook and stuff like that, and I know we always have, like, our different stuff going on, but, like, I always enjoy, like, seeing your stuff and, like, that's why I feel so guilty because I have that mindset of, like, if you don't know what to say and you think it's gonna be embarrassing, don't say it at all. Link's anxiety.
I get it. I have that too.
Right.
Um, no, but just people remembering or even just saying his name. Sometimes I feel like people are too scared to talk about him, like, because they're going to make me cry. And I mean, yeah, sometimes it makes me sad, but it also just makes me happy that you remember him.
Right. Is there
Sorry, I'm looking you up on Facebook. That is a nice family.
Yes.
I'm like, I want to know. I want to know what these people look like. Don't mind if I do.
I'm
there
probably
any
biased, but I feel like my kids are the cutest.
were there any, like, organizations that you kinda wanted to shout out that we wanted to pay recognition to that, like, really
Yeah.
helped you?
So, Sing Me to Heaven, they are located, at least when they helped me, they were located out in LaPorte City, and they helped cover funeral costs. Yes, so that was, a big help for us. And then Mount Olivet, um, I think they gave us the plot at a discounted price, maybe. They did something. I feel bad that I can't really remember.
You had a lot going on. I mean,
Did.
it makes sense that you don't remember, but it's enough that you remember they did help us, even if
They
you
did.
don't remember exactly
They
what they
did.
did.
And I feel bad because we had other places help. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. Any more questions?
That was all my questions. Did you have anything, Erica?
No.
No. Well, again, thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on. I truly appreciate it. I mean, I know our listeners will. And thank you for sharing like this traumatic experience that you had and this life experience. It might help someone out there realize, you know, different things and kind of sympathize with the situation. So it means a lot to me that you even agreed to come on. So
Yes, of course. Any mom, any couple who's going through something like this, I will always be willing to share my story and not to scare them, but just as an experience I had.
right.
So, yes.
Right. And I feel that all experience mold us into things that, who we are and what we do. And I feel, they say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. And I feel sometimes that really does. That is the case.
Yes. Yep.
So you have been through so much and I wish your family nothing but happiness and, all the best in the world because
Thank you.
you deserve it.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Yeah. Thank you.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Sarah.
Yes, you guys.
It was nice meeting you.
Yes, nice meeting you too, Erica.
Alrighty. Well, we want to thank Sarah again for sharing. We know that episode was really, really hard, and we definitely want to thank her for sharing her trauma with us.
Yes, and being so vulnerable and open.
Yes. I know it was a hard listen. I know her personally too. So I remember some of the things happening, and I was just, it's very hard to listen to. So, or even just for her to be a part of that. It's amazing. But anyway, tune in next week for part 2 of this episode of child loss or miscarriage and child loss. As always, you can send us an email with your trauma at sorryfortraumadumpingpodcast@gmail.com.
You won't forget
it. You won't forget it. And as always, we have Facebook and Instagram and TikTok.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, girl.
Oh, bye.
Bye.